competitive edge, or even how we got to this point, or how I got to this point, or why even I thought about creating such an organization for the community. My background is in education, so I've spent a significant amount of time in education, but I also was a D1 player. And so I played at Coppin State University. But when thinking about my experience as an athlete, I thought about how I could have been better supported during the process. Student athletes experience failure at a rapid rate. Every time down the court or field, if they make a wrong decision, they're experiencing a failure. And so they also equally have to bounce back extremely quick in order to pick up the next play. So emotional intelligence was the thing that I kind of pondered for a year. Initially, we were talking about IQ, so that the intellectual quotient, but that is great in the scheme of things, and I shall not play down the IQ. But when we start looking at and peeling back EQ, what does that really mean? How does it look for Bianca, my daughter? How does it look for other student athletes? How does it play out in real world? This is where we really need to plant our feet. And so just Bianca is actually our first EQ student athlete, to be honest. And we learned how to kind of navigate this space by way of her. So the other part of it, though, that I think is extremely important to at least highlight is that EQ is what most corporate entities are looking for. So where at one point in time, there was this raving around IQ. Who's the smartest, right? But now it's like, who has the ability to manage their emotions? Who has the ability to work within the confines of a team? Who has the ability to work with diverse groups of people? Who has the ability to lead a team? Well, student athletes do. But if we could show them the transferable skills, then that becomes the big thing. Student athletes have a plethora of skills, but they don't think about those skills and how they transfer to the real world. So that really was my why, focusing in on my experience, focusing in on my daughter's experience, which was a story in itself that we'll sometime tell, but just focusing in on her experience, looking at 1,000 of studying and observing thousands of student athletes over the last, 6 or 7 years, and really focusing in on those low points, those gaps in their performance. And emotional intelligence, some people call it mental toughness. That's what it's called in the sports space. But what is mental toughness, and how do you build that capacity? Emotional intelligence allows us to build the capacity for students to become more mentally tough.